The dogs have stopped barking now. Hello. Hi, Lynn. Welcome everyone to um our second part of Raptors Roundup post playoffs. I'm joined with Lynn. How's it going, Lynn?
I'm all right, Ash. How are you?
Good, thanks. Excuse if you hear barking dogs in the background. It's coming from the street of where I live, so I don't know what's going on. Um, but so we just wanted to bring you on. Just we're chatting in the evening, so apologies if I'm a bit um slow to pick up on things. We don't normally chat this time, do we, Lynn?
No, definitely not.
Um, but just to get I just wanted a debrief really because I don't think we had a real chance to have a chat after playoffs, and I thought it'd be good to get a few people chatting, and then at least the team and some of the followers can listen in and hear how we thought it went personally. So, I just thought I would grab you in tonight and ask you how you think the weekend went.
I mean, it couldn't have went much better, could it?
No.
We got what we wanted. We had a great time. Everyone enjoyed themselves. Yeah, it's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. I can't fault how great everyone was too this weekend. It was just absolutely spot on. Um, Talk us through how you were feeling leading up to the weekend.
Well, I think I was probably nervous maybe about in the half an hour run up before the first game, but before that, I was just looking forward to it mostly. Um, I know there was a lot riding on it. The sort of future of the club and any future teams that we might enter, like all sort of depended on the results. But I was also pretty confident in our ability to get what we wanted, so I wasn't too nervous.
Hmm. And what were you kind of hoping to get out of the weekend yourself personally, and also like as from the club's perspective?
But I just wanted to be able to like support my teammates in however way I can, make sure everyone was ready, nice and warmed up, all the usual stuff. Didn't really want to treat it too differently from like a normal game because we take our games pretty seriously anyway. So it's always good not to pile on the pressure, um, and think too hard about it. But yeah, I just wanted us to do well. Whether I mean, it was great if we would win, but as long as we played our hardest, I was going to be happy and proud of everyone because we've had an excellent season. So winning playoffs was just the sort of icing on the cake. And with the future of the club, obviously with promotion for A team, that kind of leaves us open for more opportunities for the B team. And any way the club can grow is excellent. We've got our under 16s coming as well. So that's this sort of thing is just excellent for the club and the future of the club, and that's all I can really hope for.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it was so important in securing a lot of parts of the club's future, especially if, our first season in the competitive league. I think a lot of us have been kind of waiting for that opportunity for some time, and like we had the privilege of competing at the BHA Nationals, and when there was a cup competition we could enter, we were doing that. And I think we were just kind of scrambling at any chance to play games that meant something. So I think our first season was full of those opportunities. And I don't know how you found the first season of league hockey compared to what you've been used to, Lynn, because you started playing hockey with the Seal Queens. So how have you found that like transition?
It's very different from playing, recce teams, in a good way, in the best way. It's great to be playing in a women's league for with a women's team, um, and having like good matchups and abilities and good friendly, healthy competition and not knowing the outcome of a match before you go into it and really coming down to there's no mismatches in like strength or skill. Like everyone's got a good chance of playing against each other. And of course just promoting women's hockey in general. Like it's so much better having played in this league now, and um we're not playing the recce teams full of men of all ages, and it's great.
Yeah. So how important do you feel being part of the league is now that you've had a season of it behind you?
It's definitely where we need to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
for individual players, for the club as a whole. It is like exactly, it was sort of the goal for a long time. We didn't know when it was going to be possible. We always knew it was something we wanted to do. We kind of always knew we would probably outgrow the BUIHA, and this was the place where we were going to be if we could do it, and now we've proven that we can.
Brilliant. Now Lynn, like as a captain leading up to the weekend, what were your did you have any chats with Jessie and Kate about kind of how you would approach it? Because I really thought the captaincy team, as you said before, approached it very well in terms of not putting too much pressure on everyone and facilitating kind of this open conversation between everyone about how we were all feeling, leading up to the weekend. And there was chats about kind of mental health, kind of coping strategies during the week. And I just want to credit you guys on um, like facilitating that discussion as captains. Did you guys have any kind of game plan or anything or any conversations, or was it mostly kind of just like we were going with kind of the momentum we've been building up all season?
Yeah, we never really had any specific discussions about anything other than what we were going to do at warm up with 5 minutes and five pucks. That was sort of we wanted to make sure we made the best use of that time that we had. So that's mostly what we were talking about, and discussing with each other like a wee plan. But yeah, I think like the club works so well. Like we don't always need to have that kind of input from the captains. We've got yourself and Brad who were stepping up as well, and taking on leadership roles and making suggestions. And I think that it's never just down to the captains with us. It's sort of like everybody contributes too.
Mm-hmm. And I thought another person that was kind of stepping in that role as well was like Tatiana with her pre-game speeches.
Oh, I love that speech. It's so good. I don't care how many times I hear it, it gets me going every time.
It's just something else. So people that weren't in the changing room at the time, Tatiana has recreated the Herb Brooks speech, but specific for each of our games. So she had a piece of paper and was reciting this speech she had wrote. How were you feeling and thinking about like in the locker room, kind of minutes before the game, like, and what was the energy you were getting from everybody else?
Um, if I sit and think to myself, without input from my teammates, I probably won't be thinking of much. I'll try and keep like my mind a bit like blank and empty. And but when we get going, when we've got the speeches, when we've got Rambo with his pre-game speech and everybody else sort of chipping in afterwards, like that, like really gets me going, gets my head in the game, gets me like properly thinking about it. Um, that's all I really need is just I don't like to think about it too far in advance. So when we're just sitting there, yeah, probably in the last few minutes before we're on is when I like really start thinking about the game itself.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it keeps your kind of anxiety at ease too, because I think some of the girls get quite nervous before the game. So I think having a
Yeah.
leader that has that face of kind of we can face anything and that we're prepared is really important for a team, I think.
Yeah, I've got like I know that I've got faith in my teammates and um confidence without being like arrogant. So I know that we've got good players. I know that we can score. I know that we can play hard and skate fast. So there's not always too much to worry about before a game either. For me anyway.
No, that's great, Lynn. So just chatting about kind of the end game moments. So talk us through Saturday, how the bench was, because I think you had a position where you could really kind of feed off what Rambo was saying, what other people were saying, and also having that vision of like people's energies on and off the ice and picking up on things, because potentially the first or second line, those girls are kind of working hard and or maybe spending that time on the bench recovering and aren't picking up on those things. So kind of what were the things you noticed on the Saturday that really helped us come together and maybe some things on the Saturday that, oh, we could do better in future or, that sort of thing. Was there any kind of things that you specifically noticed?
Um, I think we were good at not getting down when there was like a little bit of a mistake and we ended up letting a goal in on the Saturday. Like we didn't let it get us down. That first goal against us, we like I think we like kept our heads. We sort of managed to regroup pretty well, keep our heads in the game and keep trying and um I can never remember the details of a game once they're past. I know Rambo like can remember it play by play, but
I know
I
that's why I like to chat to people, or I'm trying to get everyone chatting to me like as soon as possible because it's like all these memories are so fresh. But yeah, a few days have passed and I still can't remember things.
yeah, there was just so much going on. Like
Mhm.
you could feel the tension on the bench a lot of the time, even when we were like up by a goal or two. We never quite relaxed like we might normally do in a league game. You could feel the tension and like a bit of the pressure going around, and you could see people's faces, like the sort of disappointment if they'd made like a even just a small mistake on the ice. Like they would come off and you could see it in their face that they weren't happy with themselves. So
Hmm.
um, just a kind of matter of try not to let people get themselves like be too hard on themselves, and even
Yeah.
if it's just pat in the back and knock their shins with your stick or something, like just to try and get them out of their head and thinking about the game rather than thinking about the last play.
Hmm. That's really good. Yeah. So important to do that. Like on the bench, take your time to recover and forget about it. What was I gonna say? Was there any kind of major differences in terms of that pressure feeling that we were all feeling compared to Saturday and Sunday? Because Saturday was a semi-final, whereas Sunday was a final. But do you feel like we felt more pressured on the Sunday, or do you think we were less pressured, and why?
I feel like there was a lot of pressure on the Saturday game where
Hmm.
we knew we could win, but we weren't getting the goals in when we needed them. So I think that really racked up the pressure, especially on the usual goal scorers. I think they must have felt it the hardest. Um,
Hmm.
Especially the younger girls. I think they maybe took it a bit hard on themselves too. Um, because there were times where we didn't make it easy on ourselves either. Where, like we knew we could do it, but we maybe like made a little mistake here, a little mistake there, and yeah, I think that kind of got to people a wee bit, and
Hmm.
but like that's the thing, we got through it. I mean, overtime's awful. Nobody likes playing overtime
No.
uh, at Saturday game, but we kept our cool as
Yeah.
much as we could. We made the opportunities that we needed. I think we probably didn't have enough time to really stress about it too much. We got the goal in quick enough, but I think if it had been any longer, I think people really like it. That was a long enough game as it was without the overtime added to it. So that was probably like the sort of tougher of the game, at least mentally.
Yeah. The time that took to have that relief and keep consistent pressure on you, just trying to cope with it. Yeah, completely agree. Um, just you're just waiting for something. It's just kind of you're just waiting for something to happen, but also knowing that you can also make it happen yourself. It's kind of it's a really hard balance and not to put too much pressure on yourself as well, and think about what you could be doing differently when so many things are changing all the time. So yeah, I agree. I think Saturday was a bit more. Both were pressurizing days, but Saturday just had a bit more of a pressure to it. I think if you
Yeah,
could,
we knew it was only the first step as well. We knew there was another game to come, so we were just trying so hard to get there.
yeah, yeah. And then, how did you feel on the Sunday? Talk us through how you felt then.
I think I definitely felt more nervous on the Sunday than the Saturday.
Right.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I was still confident in it and like that we would do well, um, like I didn't really know much about the other team, didn't really know what to expect. We knew we were all a bit tired and um
Hmm.
had as much time to recover as we maybe would have liked. We had like
Yeah,
a
because our face off was what? 11 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday, but we had just finished skating probably about 8 o'clock the night before. So, and we
Yeah.
had our dinner at probably 9:30. So, yeah, it was quite a tricky time.
Yeah, and I know some of the girls had a bit of a late night, staying up chatting for probably a bit too long. So, um, yeah, that was. I think we were all tired, but well, at least I would try not to think about how tired we were and just looking further to the game and knowing that the other team was probably feeling the same as us and we weren't really at a great disadvantage because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they had a later face-off time to us, isn't that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel about playing Cardiff in the final?
I didn't really like I still don't know much about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like these obviously were good enough to have made it to the final with us. I'm pretty sure they would have been just as nervous as we were. Um, Maybe even a bit more because I think we kind of like had a bit of a reputation at that point, being undefeated in the league. So, that probably worked to our advantage a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, it
I
was.
was quite interested to see Cardiff because I'd seen their scores versus Cambridge and I'd seen they'd beat them once, but then they had lost to Cambridge and I thought that's quite
Mm,
interesting because those two teams are both top in the league and something either must have happened to Cambridge throughout the season that, has made them the better team, but Cardiff maybe is like edged them on points or they edged them on goal difference, which I thought was interesting. So I felt maybe there was a harder hockey challenge on the Saturday, but Sunday was still just as hard in different ways because as you say of fatigue and kind of that pressure of final as well.
exactly.
Mm. Um yeah, so I guess do you have any kind of main highlights from the weekend from yourself personally?
Um, yeah, I think obviously the games themselves were great. We won. Like, there's no better feeling than winning.
Yeah.
Even just the time we spent together off ice was good fun. We had some pool games in the bar of the hotel on the Saturday.
How
On
was the hotel, Lynn?
that was an interesting venue that we'll never use again. I would hope. Um,
What
we
was your
yeah,
favorite parts of the hotel?
I like the pool table. The pool
Yeah.
cues were awful.
I
And
liked when all the police visited on Saturday night. That was really fun.
that was fun. Nikki and I also had a massive spider in our room, and Ricky had to rescue us from the giant spider. And then the next day, we found a slightly smaller one as we were packing up. So that was
Right.
pretty traumatizing. But I mean, yeah. Other than that, and the brown towels, we got a good night's sleep after the music got turned off. So it wasn't the best, but I'm sure people have stayed in worse places.
Yeah, because Saturday night was the karaoke night, I think, at the Fitzwilliam, for the local Rotherham, the Rotherhamians, residents of Rotherham.
There were some interesting singers at that karaoke. It was, I think we had to close the door over at one point because it was just too much.
I think it was too much for Rotherham as the police wagons turned up as well.
Yeah, I saw the fist flying from the pool room through the door, and I went, oh, there's a fight. And one of the juniors like runs over to get a better view, and I kind of had to drag her back out of the way because she was getting a little bit too close.
How have you felt like, as an adult, you know, bringing these juniors into the team? Like, what do you think they've brought to the team?
Oh, they've definitely got loads of energy, loads of enthusiasm. They're all super keen. They've all been really good learners as well. They're like little sponges still, even at that age. They're just soaking it all up.
Hmm.
There's so many like experienced girls on the team to learn from, so much to teach, so many good teachers on the team too who are willing to like pass on their knowledge and experience to the younger girls. So I think they've really taken advantage of that and learned from, well, I mean, I may be a bit biased, but they've kind of learned from the best now and um they're gonna take that forward
Absolutely.
and
I
continue to
think
get.
yeah, I completely agree with you. Like the culture that we've created in the team, if whenever someone learns that so young, they'll not know any different. So it's so important now. Like that these girls are involved in at a younger age because they see how a women's team functions and can only make it better now as they get older. So yeah,
There's some really good role models in the team for them to look up to. So like,
yeah,
I'm sure that's what they're doing now and just following our leads and following in our footsteps. And
yeah.
yeah,
It's a nice
best do.
feeling.
Yeah.
Any plans to celebrate playoffs then? Have you got anything in mind?
Oh, I know there's been a lot of talk, and there's some been really good suggestions, but nothing's 100% planned yet, I don't think. It would
Mhm.
be quite nice for everyone to get a shot of the trophies. If
Yeah,
we do that, pass them around the team. Everyone gets a couple of days of the week with them. Um, yeah, we
I look
definitely need
forward to
to.
that. I look forward to bringing the trophies on tour in
Oh yeah,
various locations in Scotland. I think that would be great.
absolutely. Need to show off and let everybody know because so many people haven't heard of it. It's like we need to get our names out there. Um, and yeah, we definitely need to get the whole club together to celebrate. We need to do something. Um, whether it's going on an open bus tour, an open top bus tour rather, and um having fun doing that, or meeting up in the park and having a little party, or going to Laser Quest again, like whatever it is we do, like it's gonna be loads of fun. Everyone's gonna be absolutely buzzing for it. I just know.
Well, Lynn, that's great. And is there anyone you'd like to give a wee shout out to?
I don't know how many people listen to this podcast.
A whole
Um,
seven.
yeah, shout out to all the Steel Queens, past and present. And we've got some OG Steel Queens visiting us over the weekend. So we're meeting up with them. So shout out to everybody who's ever been a part of the club and thanks for everything you've done.
And you've got, yeah, your friends are coming this weekend, our old friends, Mary Dobbin and Maggie Benson. So that'll be good to catch up with them.
Yeah, perfect timing. Like they couldn't be coming over to see us at a better time.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, so yeah, thanks for chatting, Lynn.
No
And we'll
worries.
see you
Thanks for
all for
having
the,
me.
no, no problem. We'll see you all for the next chat with Jessie Malloy.